Hello, good morning everybody. Welcome back. Nice to see you all here. And today we're going to continue with our English lesson and let's see what it is all about. So, I'm K. Shailaja Rao, soft skill trainer at Aditya Global Business School, and it's lovely to see you all here. So, can you tell me what you see on this screen? Tell me what these children are doing. Can you quickly tell me what these kids are doing? What are the first batch of kids doing? Like hanging from a tree, right? Then what is that batch doing? I'm sure all of you know the answers. So just tell me what they're doing. I'm sure you know the answers. So simple. Tell me what these kids are doing. What those? Are they playing with the hoops? What are these children doing? Which game are they playing? And what are they doing? So all these children are actually doing something or the other. They're performing some action or the other. So in English, when somebody is doing something or performing an action, those words are called action words, right? So they're hanging from a tree, they're swimming, they're playing with a hoop, they're running, these people are playing football, and these people are reading. So all of them are performing an action. So these words that perform an action are called action words, and we have another name for it in English, which is called verbs. So today we're going to do a session on verbs, what they are, how they help us, what is their importance in a sentence. So today we're going to see about or learn about verbs. I'm sure all of you already know what verbs are, what they do, how they help in a sentence, what is their importance in the different parts of speech. This is also a part of speech. So let's learn a little more. If you already know it, doesn't matter. We are only going to revise what we already know. So let's see what are verbs. So verbs are words in a sentence that describe what the subject is doing. Subject, what is the subject? When I say he is playing or the children are reading. So who is doing the job or who is doing the work? Who is doing that action? The children, right? So children are the subject and they are doing some action. Along with nouns, verbs are the main part of a sentence. As important as nouns are in a sentence, name, place, animal, things, because these are the things that do something, right? Animal could be barking, a child could be playing, a thing could be decaying. So what are they doing? They're doing something. So these actions are called verbs. So actually, verbs are always describing what a person or a thing or an animal or any of the nouns are or pronouns are doing. So the main part of the sentence is a verb. Sometimes you can actually have a sentence without a noun also, but you can never have or you cannot have a sentence without a verb. So let's check that out. So verbs are always show an action. It could be sing, it could be develop, it could be existing. Okay, so these are all action, or there are some action words and there are some non-action words also, which are verbs. Like I love you. Okay, there is something happening, right? Love is there, but can you see it? No, it's not an action that is happening. So that is called a non-action verb. Or I hate you. Hate is also a non-action verb. So let's look at the difference in the following slides. So the basic form of the word, when we say eat, sleep, read, all these are called infinitive. When we put to read. Sita loves to read. Sham loves to sleep. So when we put those to read, to sleep, they are all called infinitive verbs, or they are all called infinitives. So call, love, break, go are all infinitives. So now, how do you recognize a verb? This is this is a good question. How do you recognize a verb? How do you know that this is something, this word in a sentence is a verb? Let's look at that. So I have actually divided this board into two kinds of verbs. One is action verbs and the other are non-action verbs. As you can see, action verbs are those that you can see. You can see somebody reading, right? Or you can see somebody run. You can see somebody eat. You can see a horse gallop. You can see a person drive. You can see a person talk or walk. This is something that you can see with your eyes. So these things that you can see happening in front of you or otherwise are called action verbs. But look at the next set of words there. Think. Can you see somebody think? Do you see it happening? Probably not, right? You can, even if somebody is quiet, you might ask him, what are you doing? And he would say, I'm thinking. So you don't know what he is doing because it is happening in his mind. You cannot see it. That is a non-action verb. You cannot, I know this, right? Knowing is also a non-action verb where you do not, it is not shown from the outside. Consider, considered. I considered that option, but I gave it up. You're considering, to consider something, to give it a thought. Consider is also giving it a thought, right? So consider is also a non-action verb. Similarly, feel. Oh, I feel for that dog, stray dog. So what you feel, nobody can see. And love, like I told you, there are so many more. Hate, own, belong, all these are non-action verbs, which I will show you later in a small video, where the whole list of non-action verbs is there. So are you all ready with your pen and notebook? Right? Because this class without a pen and a notebook, it will be very difficult for you to remember later. So please note down, even if you know everything about verbs, as I told you, you will be having a test probably on Wednesday. All the English classes, like the grammar classes that we had, you will be having a test, and for that you will need these notes just to revise. Even if you know everything, unless you revise something, your brain is not ready to, deliver. So you have to listen carefully, note down the important points. Whenever I put something up on the screen, don't just stare at it, try to take down the points. I know some of you may be taking screenshots, but then those shots will remain in your phone and you will never read from them. So please write down. Writing is a good habit to have. Note taking is a very important habit for a learner. That is the way it registers in your mind. There's actually a connection between the hand and the brain, which we'll probably can discuss in another class. Science will tell you that when you write something down, it registers better. Today with technology, all of us have given up on those little things, but they do matter. That is why, in schools in earlier days, everything was made. You were made to write everything, even alphabets you had to, repeat it again and again and again. Because when you repeat something, when you write something, it registers very well in the brain. Okay, so that's that. But please write down all these points, all these words. It will help you not only for this class, not only for your classes here, wherever you are, whichever class you are. These are the basics that you must know, because when you when you speak English and then you make these grammatical mistakes, you immediately will be put down as somebody who doesn't know, cannot speak English very well. You don't want to be making that mistake, right? So please note down these points. So kinds of verbs. Now I've got a very simple task for you. What My mother dash food for us. My mother dash food for us. So kinds of verbs, like verbs are of many types. There are present tense, present continuous tense, and past tense, verbs in past tense. My mother cooks food for us could be present continuous tense. My mother cooked food for us, ed, could be past tense. Similarly, the dog, I think the next slide will give us these answers. Oh, no? I thought there was there. Okay, here. My mother cooks. My mother, I said cooked food for us, which will be in the past tense, but here the answer is my mother will cook food for us, future tense, right? So they could be in any form, verbs. The dog barked at the stranger. So is this present tense or past tense? Past tense. It barked at the stranger. The dog is barking at the stranger. Present continuous tense. It's still barking. Jay runs very fast. Okay? Jay can run very fast. That he can run very fast. It's a future tense. So these verbs can be in any of these tenses, action verbs. There's a feature about non-action verbs which I'll tell you in the coming slides. So what is the main verb? Main verb is that word in a sentence which shows action of some kind. That is called the main verb. So what are the words that showing action? Cooks, cook, barked, barking, runs, run, right? These are the main words. Then what are will cook? What is barking? What is can run? How are they also marked as verbs there? The main verbs are cook, barked, runs. But here when you're looking at future or the past, is barking present tense and future tense, you have some other words added to the verbs. Will cook, is barking, and can run. So how are these verbs? These are called modal auxiliary verbs or auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verb is a helping verb. So here is or will, is, can are called helping verbs. They tell you whether that action is happening now or has happened in the past or will happen in the future. Okay, will is a modal auxiliary. Is not modal, it's an auxiliary. Is an auxiliary verb. Can is an modal auxiliary verb. So these are called auxiliary verbs. They are also called helping verbs. Whether you hear the word auxiliary verbs or helping verbs, they mean the same thing. Okay, so see, these are the main verbs which denote an action, and the words will, is, can are called auxiliary verbs because they are helping the verb to tell us when this action has happened. Is it happening now? Is barking? Did it happen in the past? Was barking, or will cook, or can run? Will it happen in the future? So these are called primary auxiliaries: to be, to do, and to have. Okay, so let's see how these primary auxiliaries or primary auxiliary verbs work, right? So now we have decided that verbs are action words, right, which are helped by some other words which is called a helping verb or an auxiliary verb. So now let us look at to be, being, been. So today in this slide we are looking at to be. Okay, so I am going to school. So you are doing something. So that I am going to work. So am is a modal auxiliary verb, or it's an auxiliary verb. He is sleeping on the bed, or he is running in the ground in the stadium. So is another auxiliary verb. You could use any of these. Subject, here pronouns are used. You could use personal nouns or proper nouns also. She was cooking. She was playing. They were running. They were studying in the last hour. They were watching television. He was or you were watching television. They are or were being. They are going to a movie. So what are the helping verbs here? Are, were, was, is, am. All these are helping verbs which go with the subject when it is I, he, she, you, we, they. These are the helping verbs which are used with these subjects. Did you understand that? Right? So now let us look at to be. Like, these are some more examples with to be. I am taking a bath. She is waiting since 8 a.m. The cake was made. You were being followed. You are being late. All these are modal auxiliary verbs. So these are examples of to be. That is, auxiliary verbs are am, is, was, were and are. These are helping auxiliaries, they are also called. Helping auxiliaries whenever we are stating something is being done, something is happening. Okay? I am taking, she is, even in the past and something happened, the cake was made yesterday. You could add anything else after that. The important thing is we remember that was is a helping verb. Right? So to do. Next, the helping verb. Okay. The next helping verb is to do. So whenever some action is happening with do, does, did, they are also called helping verbs. Let's look at the subject. Again, I, you, we, they do, he, she, it does, I, you, we, they, he, she, it did. Okay? All these together in the past tense, you can use did for any of these. So in the present, I do not know the truth. I do not. So do not know is a do, there is a helping verb. Similarly, does. She does not want to attend the event. She does not want to cook. She does not want to read. It could be anything. Or he does not want to read. Or it does not want to go out. The dog, it does not want to go out. So does is also a helping verb. Similarly, whenever you ask questions with did or is also a helping verb. Did you answer that question? Did you go to school yesterday? Did you attend the class? Did they attend the class today? Did he win the prize? So all these are did, do, does and did are also helping verbs. That is to do. Okay, the second one, the helping verbs is, first is to be, am, is, are, okay, and then to do is do, does, did. Note these words, they are helping verbs. And next, do is an irregular verb that changes its form according to the tense. So, do does not mean only that. Do is present tense, did is past tense. So, do changes, does is future tense. She does not want to go, he does not want to eat, means something in the future he does not want to do. So, do, does, did, do changes its form whenever depending on the tense it is spoken in. And the next one is to have. So, to have. So, here when we are talking about auxiliary verbs or helping verbs, have, has, had are also helping verbs. So, we are having a great time. We have a bag, or I have a bag. Okay? They have an expensive car. Have. And he has finished studying. He has to go out. He has to read. I, you, we, they had, past tense. They had to leave immediately. She had to go to school. Or you had to study yesterday for the exam. We had to drop the plan because of corona. You know, our vacation plan, we had to drop it because of corona, or we had to donate something, you know. So, have, has and had are also helping verbs which change again according to the tense. So, followed by the main verb. Generally, have, has, had, it's followed by the main word. I have been working. Okay, it has taken 2 hours to finish. She had written a beautiful. So, taken, written, been working, these are following the helping verb. So, the main verb here follows the helping verb whenever you use have. And even these change according to the tense of the sentence. The helping verb have is also used to make questions for most verbs. You can say, have you had dinner? Have you been sick? Have you seen that movie? So, have is also used to ask questions. So, let us look at these helping verbs. She is preparing, okay, let's go back. She is preparing dinner tonight. The lost water bottle was found. You are going to see the principal today. This house is being painted this month. Meena was being questioned by the police. So, all this is, was, are, is being, was being, they are all helping verbs. The actual verbs, helping verbs come before most action verbs. See here, the actual verb is preparing. Here, the actual verb is found. The actual verb, the main verb, when I say actual verb, the main verb is going. The main verb here is painted. The main verb here is questioned, right? So, the helping verbs come before the action verbs, right? Or the main verbs. They need not be action verbs only. The helping verbs are always followed by the main verb, right? So, okay. We have practiced a lot for the competition. So, just some examples for you. I had thought about joining the team for a couple of months. Did Felix takes swimming lessons at the local swimming pool. Lily does not know how to sing. Kavya does her homework every day. Yesterday she did not do it. There was no one to guide the students, so the trip had to be cancelled. So all these are helping verbs. Have, had, did, does, did, was, had. So all these are helping verbs. So what are the features of primary auxiliary verbs? So these are also called primary auxiliary verbs. We'll look at this. Before that, we'll have a short video, and this will help you understand more about the topic. Okay, just a small video, and then we'll continue. Yeah. So you saw the non-action verbs or the non-action words which we use, and most of these words or all of these non-action words or non-action verbs cannot be used in the present progressive tense. What does that mean? You cannot say, I am owning this car. Own is a non-action verb. You should say, I own this car, or he is owning, my neighbor is owning an expensive car. It's wrong. Owning is a non-action verb. So you can only say own. My neighbor owns a very expensive car or just an expensive car. I'm forgetting my keys all the time. Again, wrong. I forget my keys all the time. Okay? This bag is belonging to me. Wrong. ing cannot be added to these non-action verbs. Remember that. So, own, belong, hate, love, sound. He is sounding very wrong. That sounding is also wrong. You cannot use it in present progressive tense. He sounds all wrong. I'm hearing something every night. Wrong. I hear something every night. When I sleep, I'm hearing strange sounds from upstairs. It's wrong, hearing. So it should be, I hear strange sounds from upstairs every night. So I hope you made a note of all those words, but maybe in the future, in the coming slides, I'll have those words for you. But just I wanted to let you know that these non-action verbs cannot be used in present continuous tense. That means you cannot add ing to those words. Whenever you hear somebody saying, I'm hating you or I'm loving you, it's all wrong. Okay? Owning, belonging, so all these words, want, I'm wanting this pen for a long time. There is nothing called wanting. I want this book or I want this dress for a long time. Okay? So non-action words do not come in present continuous or present progressive tense. Right? So now let's get back to features of primary auxiliary verbs. So primarily auxiliary verbs not only function as auxiliary verb, but sometimes they are the main verbs in a sentence. They can change their form as per the subject in the sentence. Let's look at. Dave is playing cricket with his father. So is playing, and it has been snowing since morning. Jia is hungry. Here there is no, here we have is a auxiliary and playing is the main verbs, right? But here also it has been. Has is the auxiliary and been is the main verb, right? This is the main verb and this is the auxiliary verb, right? Or the helping verb. But can you see that Jia is hungry? Is there a main verb here? You know, you could write Jia is feeling hungry. If you added feeling, it could be a main verb. But there is no feeling here. So the meaning of that sentence is understood without the main verb also. Just with the help of the auxiliary verb, the meaning is understood. So the auxiliary verb becomes the main verb here. So the man has a new car. Okay, you could write the man owns a new car or non-action verb, but he has a new car is an auxiliary verb which has become the main verb here. Right? So auxiliary verbs sometimes do the function or perform the function of the main verb. That is, without the main verb also you are able to understand that sentence. So like Jia is hungry, even without feeling, you understand that Jia is, something is happening to Jia. and the man has a new car. Without own or the main verb, has itself, which is an auxiliary verb, tells us the whole meaning of that sentence. So, sometimes these words or these verbs, auxiliary verbs without the main verb are sometimes or always called primary auxiliary verbs, because they become the primary verb in that sentence. So, here let us check if these are the primary verbs or not. To try filling in that for me. Let me see who's going to do it first. We have, I'll give you say 15 seconds. So, in order, which is the first one, second, third, fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4 only, and we have 5 blanks. So, it should not be so difficult. So, the teacher is going to post the results on the bulletin board now. I thought to myself, Navena's team Navena's team is not happy, or you could even write was not happy. You could write both. Was is correct. Their team had competed with the other teams, but we did not lose hope. When we saw the results, we were jumping up and down with joy. So, Navena's team is not happy, their team had competed, or you could even write was not happy. So, both are right there. Is happy, is not happy, or was not happy, and their team had competed, we did not lose hope, we were jumping up and down with excitement. Those of you who got that right, fantastic, very correct. So, most of you I think have got it, but I will just go to some of the previous questions. Madam, snowing is a verb. No ma'am. Yes, snowing is a verb. When we say to snow, it means snow is just falling. When we say it is snowing outside, it means it is something we can see. It is an action verb. So, snowing is allowed. Snowing means it is an action word where we can actually see the snow fall. When we say it's snowing outside, we mean the snow is falling, right? So, that is an action verb and snowing is correct. These are his belongings. Yes, very good question there. These are his belongings. Then I said belong is a non-action verb, but when we say belong, you could be, I thought to myself that Navena's team is not happy. That Navena's team here, we actually don't know whether Navena's team was right there. Maybe he is watching Navena's team and then speaking. So, that is why we could have easily put it in the present tense or in the past tense, because maybe when the teacher was posting the results, Navena's team is also present there, and the person who is speaking or who's the author can see Navena's team, and he feels that Navena's team is not happy because they competed and had lost or something like that. Okay? So, you could write is, because if Navena's team was present there, they probably can see them, or it could be in the present, or if he says this has happened could have happened in the past and said Navena's team was not happy, right. So, is, was, both are correct. So, welcome to the galaxy of planets of modal auxiliary verbs. I think this this modal auxiliary verbs, we will do it in the next class, because if we start it now, it might be a little difficult to remember. So, what we will do is, we will stop the class now, and hope you all understood what action verbs are and what non-action verbs are, and the difference between the two, and how action verbs can be written in any tense, present, past, future, but non-action verbs cannot be written in the present continuous tense. That is, you cannot add ing. If you do add, I am sure you will hear a lot of people saying, I am wanting to go to that movie, ma'am. Right? Wanting to go means they want to denote that they have this interest in seeing that movie. But then wanting is wrong. I want to go to that movie, ma'am. Or I am I am feeling lazy, ma'am. Okay, I feel lazy. So feeling, wanting, owning. My father is owning a big car, or is wrong. My father owns a big car. Okay, something is belonging to me. This bag is belonging to me. Wrong. This bag belongs to me. Okay, my friends are loving me. Wrong. My friends love me. Or all my friends are hating me, ma'am. Wrong. All my friends hate me. Okay, all these words, so exist, existing. The earth is existing, ma'am. Wrong. The earth exists. Okay, so all these words, non-action words, do not take in the ing form. So if you hear somebody speak, you immediately know that they are speaking grammatically wrong English. You can try to correct them if he's your friend, and do not make the mistake yourself. So now that we know that ing cannot be added to these non-action verbs, do not add ing and sound like somebody who doesn't know good English. Sometimes, these little things give us away when we are speaking to someone. So try to listen, remember, and practice so that you don't make these mistakes when speaking anywhere, especially when you're speaking in interviews. In the future, you should try and not make these mistakes. I hope so far you understood it all clearly. In the next class, we'll continue with modal auxiliary verbs. Okay, so the spelling of modal there is M-A-L. I have to correct it. So modal auxiliary verbs, we will be doing that in the next class. So till then, hope you had a good session on action and non-action words. Note it down, go through them, and we'll see you in the next class. Bye.